Hi, and welcome to Retro Tech Guardian RTG with Ted and I. In this video, we're going to have a quick look at this computer that I bought recently. I bought it for a very specific reason. I wasn't sure when I bought it if it had inside what I needed to have inside, but I got lucky and it did. I found it on Facebook Marketplace. It's a Sony Vaio VGC LA1. And it's an all-in-one computer. It's not touchscreen. It's from around 2006. And although it is a desktop computer, it is based on a laptop motherboard and internals. So it's a mobile CPU and a mobile GPU. It has got an NVIDIA GPU. It's GeForce Go 7400 or 7400, 256 megabyte version. They did two types of this chip. You could get it on an MXM card, which is a little card that you could upgrade, and you could change out your graphics card if you wanted to upgrade your graphics card in the future. I don't think it's that one. I think it's soldered to the board. Now, I'm not going to take it apart in this video. We will do another video of the internals. But basically, I'm just going to give you a quick look at the outside, what kind of connections it's got, and we'll power it up and we'll just show it you're working. So, first of all, we're going to move Ted out the way because it's quite big and cumbersome, this machine, so we need to get Ted out the way. And we'll put them over there. And now, I got it with the original keyboard. This is the keyboard here, and quite a nifty little keyboard because you can fold that back, and then that becomes your palm rest for your keyboard. It's got a little power switch on the top with a little LCD with a power indicator at the top. So that came with it. There's a little button on the back to connect it. I'll show you the model number of the keyboard just for anybody who's interested. There you go. Oh, try and get that camera to focus. There you go. It's got the connect button just here. Now it came pre-connected because the person I bought it off, they'd already obviously set it up. It's got two little flip-up feet, one on each side. And it takes 4 AA batteries. So that's the keyboard. So we'll get that out of the way a second because this is quite big. I think off the top of my head it's a 20-inch screen. Sorry, it's a 19-inch panel. And it's running at a resolution of 1680 by 1050, so it's quite a sharp screen. I've noticed when it turns on, there is a little bit of a pressure mark around here somewhere. It might show up when we're booting it up, but it's no big deal. You don't really notice it when it's on, and plus what I use it for, it didn't bother me. I paid £20 for it. I found it on Facebook Marketplace, local to where I live. So we'll grab the machine. Now, it's quite heavy, so on the front, as long as this camera stays focused, you've got the Windows XP Media Center Edition, which is the license key that's on the back, and originally it came with that on it when it was bought new. Intel Core 2 Duo, and it's a 1.83 gigahertz Core 2 Duo mobile CPU with I think it's 2 meg of level 3 cache. And it's got, like I say, the NVIDIA graphics card. So you've got two little light indicators here. Now this is a plastic surround, and the lights are on the actual main body of the machine, and they just light up these little, almost like etched squares, and you've got a little etched power logo here. And when they light up, they just light up. You'll see that lit up when we do it. And then, I'll try and get it to focus, that's better. And then this one lights up. There's another little button on the top next to the power button that when it came with the original software, it would have just turned into a media center. And it wouldn't have started Windows, it would have just booted up into a media center. Sony had this, quite a few of these machines that did that. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the original hard drive in. It came with a 300 gig SATA hard drive with a 3.5 inch drive. It's currently got a 500 gig drive in there. So, got a webcam at the top, and there's a little button at the back of the webcam so that you can put a little shutter across it so you can be safe on the internet and no one can hack in and you can't accidentally hit your camera on and people can see you. So yeah, so that's about it for here. There's a microphone here, that's your wireless LAN light, and that is your hard drive activity light. So we'll turn it round onto this side. My lighting isn't great in here, so I apologise in advance, but I will try and let you see. Now it's got a PCMCIA slot and a PC card slot. It's got both. You've got 2 memory card slots. Now I believe it's the Sony Memory Stick Duo and the SD card, and I think it does XD cards. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's got the mini Firewire port, and you've got a headphone socket, a line in socket, and a microphone in, and then 1 USB 2 on the bottom here. So that's everything on that side. And like I say, on the top there's just 2 buttons, the power button and what would have been the media center button, which currently doesn't do anything when you press it because there is nothing installed. I've basically installed Microsoft XP with the Microsoft Media Center Edition and the 32-bit version. It's the only one I had to install, so I installed that and used the license keys on the back, and it worked fine. I was going to dual boot it and put Windows 7 on. It came with Windows 7 on, and I wanted it back with Windows on. I've got older computers and cameras that I wanted to try and connect to this. So anyway, it's got a DVD RAM slot drive in the back on the side here. I know it's really hard to see. You can just make out the slot there. So then on the back you've got your stand, which will adjust to whatever you want. There is some play in the hinges. I assume if I took this plastic apart I could probably tighten them up, but for what I'm going to use it for, it'll be fine. So it comes with this back cover, which is quite neat because all your cables would hide behind these covers, and you've got a little cable tidy there, so you just have the cables coming out. It would look neater. So we'll take the back off to show you all the back of it. So we'll take that off. Now there's some little pegs you can see on the back here, and there's some little rubber grommets in here, and they just basically slot into them, and that's what holds the back in place quite securely. So that's that, and as you can see you've got your Microsoft COA sticker, your license key. Now if I show you if I can get this up to the camera without breaking my arm. I don't know if that, you can see PCG242M. It comes up as that's the model number, but it is a VGC LA1. And I managed to find all the drivers for Windows XP for everything that's inside it, and so far everything seems to work fine. So on the back here, on this little corner here, you've got your barrel jack input and your Ethernet input, and I think it's just 1 gig LAN. It might even be 100 meg LAN, I can't remember. I haven't plugged it in that way. It's got wireless built in, so I've been using the wireless. Then on the back here you can see you've got your connect button, that would be for your wireless mouse and keyboard. You've got your Wi-Fi on and off switch, and you've got 3 more USB 2s and a modem port. And then there's one little flap that you can get at easy here, and that's got your laptop RAM in, so it's the SODIMM, I think it's PC2667. Now I know it's only a 32-bit operating system, and it'll only recognise 3 gig, but it was cheaper to buy a 4 gig kit than what it was to buy a 3 gig kit, so I bought the 4 gig kit. So it comes up with this physical RAM, there is 4 gig in there, but Windows will only see 3. So it came with the original power pack, and as you can see it's the big Sony power pack, and it's the 6.3 amp 19.5 volt Sony charger with the typical Sony barrel jack. So it came with this as well, which was great because you didn't have to try and find a power supply for it. They're not that expensive, but it was handy it was there. So let's get this plugged in. So we'll flip that over, get that plugged in there. Now, like I say, I was going to put Windows 7 and try and dual boot it. And then when I tried putting Windows 7 on, I decided against it, and I stopped the install. So I did make an extra partition on the drive so that I could dual boot. So when it starts, it'll come up and it'll ask you, do you want to put Windows 7 on or an older version of Windows? So if you leave it to try and go to Windows 7, which is the default one now, it just loops. So I have to adjust that, but I'll show you that now when I turn it on. And as for the mouse, because it didn't come with one, I'm just using one of these little cheap USB mice for the retractable ones, just because I don't have a lot of space to store stuff, and this makes it a lot easier just to get it out the way. So if I turn that towards it, turn it on, and I'll just show what you're coming on, and you'll see what I mean in a minute with the menu, because I have to go through it on the keyboard to change it. The speakers sound really good on it. You would kind of expect it to. It's like a media center thing. So you can see the power lights lit up, and you can see these little lights here. You'll see that one flashing all the time. That's the hard drive one. So this is what it's doing now. Windows 7 look, or an early version of Windows. So we'll do an earlier version of Windows, and you can see the hard drive indicator light is flashing now, and then when it comes on, you'll see the wireless light will kick in when Windows loads all the drivers. There you go, it's just kicked in now. So they all seem to work fine. The camera does work. I'm not going to put it on now, but the camera does work. And as you can see, it loads to the desktop. The screen's quite bright. Around this area where the mouse is now, that's where the... Let's see if I can find anything to... If I do that one, I don't think it shows up very well here. It's coming in and out of focus. We'll just get rid of that. So it's warning me there's no antivirus, but of course it's not going to go on the internet. I mean, it is connected to the net at the moment. I think it's only wireless B and G. So yeah, so I got it for a very particular purpose. Now, the one thing that I got it for is in this Windows Movie Maker, there is an extra capture card built into this. So if I do capture from video device here, I don't know, this probably won't show up on the screen very well, but it's an Ava Media BDA analog capture card built into these. So it's got a TV tuner, which is the old analog tuner, and Freeview, and it also has the 3 phono inputs, RCA, so you've got your yellow, red and white, so you can connect up. The old cameras that I have, I was struggling to get them to connect, to get video footage off them. Some of them will only connect via coax, via the old analog coax type phones, video signal. So I wanted something that I could do that with. And of course, Media Center Edition, it's got the TV tuner being built in. So I managed to connect a camera up using the old coax aerial socket, and it tuned it to channel 36, and it came up in here on Windows Movie Maker. So I can actually record on those cameras in the house, because most of them, the batteries don't work because they're that old. And they can then put those footage into this, and then record the footage from this and capture the image and the video. And then that way, I'm not messing around trying to capture the video and trying to find a way of doing it. This has got it all built in. It's the only reason why I bought it. And I got lucky because I had it in, because I didn't know if it did. So it's got this Ava Media BDA analog capture card, and all you do is audio device here, you tell it's Ava Media, and the audio input, so it's just analog audio input, and then where it says TV tuner, composite or S-video. So if your camera's got composite connections, you can put the composite in, it will still capture the image. If you say TV tuner, as long as you've got that tuned to channel 36 or to your actual camera, so I might have to tune it every time if the cameras are set on slightly different frequencies, and then it will just let me connect to it. So that's the only reason why I bought this machine, was just be able to capture video from it. So just to give you a dead quick rundown of the specs, it originally came with 1 gig of RAM. Like I say, I upgraded that to 4 gig, but the computer, because it's only 32-bit, only says 3 gig. It's got the 4 USB ports we said. The processor is a Intel Core 2 Duo laptop style processor at 1.83 gig, rated at 667 megahertz. It's a TFT panel, and the DVD RAM drive that's built in, so it'll burn DVD discs, play DVD discs. Same with, and you can use it as a RAM drive. So yeah, the graphics card seems to be working properly. You can go to the NVIDIA control panel and 3D settings, and so it all seems to work okay. So yeah, I've installed my Command and Conquer Generals and General 0 Hour because I didn't have a computer I could play it on. So I've been making use of that when I probably should be doing videos for you guys. But there you go, that's my vice. I like Command and Conquer Generals. So yeah, so that's the computer, that's it. So all I'd say is that I will go into the back of it to show everybody the internals, to show what kind of internals it's got, because I do want to see if it's the GPU is soldered on the board or is it an MXM card. Not that I'm going to update it, because I'm happy with the way it is for what I need it for. So I don't care if it's slow, it's quick enough for what I need to do, and that's all I care about. So yeah, so please, if you liked it, please give us a like, subscribe, or consider subscribing if you haven't already. I would really appreciate that. And if you've got any comments, or especially if you know anybody or you happen to have an original copy of the original, so you've made a copy of the discs for the hard drive, for the partition, so that I can actually install it back to factory settings. I did find on that Internet Archive, I did find a copy of Vista that I could have put on this. It's exactly the same machine, it just runs Vista instead. It doesn't have the Vista license key. I want it to be genuine, I want it to be as it was original, so I do want it to be on Windows XP. I'm not a fan of Vista. So yeah, so if you know anybody that might have a copy of that, or you've got any more information about the actual machine or anything else, then please get in touch and ask a question. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.